Hi, welcome back to Creatives on the Couch, and I'm speaking with SteveDillon about the Refuge Collection, which is an enticing collection, not just of horror stories, but, as you were saying, a ghost story with two little children involved.
Yeah. So one of the intentions is that each of the tales should be standalone and can be read as a story in its own right, especially the tales from the other writers who may only contribute one story.
Yes.
And they want it to be, standalone. In fact, we're selling these separately for 99 cents on Smashwords, each tale.
Fantastic.
And so that is a standalone tale.
The ones I've read, like The Empath's Tale and The Wrong Path, which was rather chilling.
Where Perry goes for a walk in the park. How easy can it be? But he takes the wrong path. And there's some symbolism in that, I'm sure you'll realise. But he takes the wrong path and he's drawn to follow this strange animal, which he thinks of as a shadow or a cat or a shadow cat.
And that was very subtly ended.
Yeah.
You had a subtle idea of what happened to Perry,
Yeah.
and you got a very deep insight into Perry in that. I found that he was an extremely well-drawn character.
Oh, good. But Perry still has a long way to go. He's taken the wrong path, and it's
I'm
a
glad
lot
to hear
in
that, because
store
I
for
really
him.
could relate to Perry, especially his
He'll be
fascination
back.
with the otherworldly, with magical trees or
Which itself
special rivers.
is based on real life. That tree, that story of the tree. My wife and I came across a tree in Cornwall, and actually she thought we'd taken the wrong path, and she was really frightened by this experience. This tree coming out of a swamp with all these cluties hanging from it. These
Now, see, that's the last thing I would think would be real.
And that was real. That was real. Yeah.
And it was so exciting because obviously so many different people had felt drawn to this tree to hang different things on it.
Yeah.
And you kind of sense people are in tune here with mystical energies.
Yeah.
And that seems to happen a lot in England.
And living in Cornwall, where we brought our kids up, we moved to Cornwall to bring the kids up.
It's a magical place, isn't it?
It is a magical place, yeah. There's
And
so
helps
many
inspire.
stories and tales. Even down to little things like walking on the beach, you find a shell. And there's a legend, there's books about this stuff, but that these are actually witches' fingernails.
Oh,
these
wow.
long shells.
Oh.
Or the devil's claw with these little conch shells.
I love that about Britain. And I love that you bring it with you in the stories, even though the Refuge Collection is set in Australia, but in a...
Is it?
That's right.
Is it set
It's
in
question
Australia?
mark.
Yeah.
Yes, in a question mark kind of way, because I'm thinking with the fighter's tale, well, I know he's from Asia.
He's escaping Southeast Asia, we think,
so I
and
think
he's going to refuge on a boat.
Well, you kind of think Australia is the obvious refuge in the Pacific, but it's kind of Australia, and yet you're suggesting it might not be.
So, to be honest, it's more of a metaphysical place. It's a place, refuge is a place that we all need at some point. So these people are all getting there however they need to get there, and in some cases they don't know how they got there. So it's a real place to them, but it's also a metaphysical place. In fact, the strapline is, it's heaven to some, hell to others. And some of the writers have interpreted this as a kind of purgatory. It's a no man's land. It's a place where anything can happen, and seems to happen.
Exactly, and I think that's represented by the fact that there are so many, every house is different.
Every house is different.
Because everyone's refuge from
so
whatever they're
like
running
the houses
from.
have come with them all from
That's
different
right.
parts of the world.
From
That's right.
Yeah, and they're all, there's a Cornish fisherman's cottage beside a Mexican
There's a
villa.
log cabin from Canada, yeah, exactly.
Yes,
There's
it's
a New Orleans brothel.
So I did get the sense that refuge, yes, it could be in Australia, but it might not be anywhere.
That's right. That's good.
It's hard to grab hold of. In a way.
So and it's hard to get there, but it's even harder to leave, as some of the characters will discover.
Yes.
And the analogy there, I guess, is the real world refugee experience. You need to escape somewhere. You arrive somewhere, and when you get there, you're not accepted. You can't speak the language. You can't understand the social systems and the health and the education. So in a way, it's heaven, of course, because you escape this war zone or something, or disease or poverty. But it's also can turn into a living hell for a lot of people.
It can be a new kind of hell. What fresh hell is this?
Yeah.
It can be a new kind of hell.
They might not be in physical danger, but they might be in psychological danger or self-harm.
And you might not get the spiritual kind of nourishment that you would have got back home.
And the community and the family.
The sense
and all
of community
that stuff,
and the sense of purpose.
Yeah. So the Refuge Collection is about helping people, we said before, about keeping hold of their sense of values, their sense of themselves, their sense of their community, and not feeling displaced and isolated.
So, we'll be back after these messages.